Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tiffany and I am the maker, creator, rabbit hole diver behind this channel. And today it is time for our March update video. In this video, we will discuss everything that I completed in March, started in March, purchased in March, some wishful thinking projects that I would like to start, and yeah, I think that's the gist of today's video. Where can you find me? You can find me on Ravelry as Tiffany Loves Yarn, and you can find me on Instagram as Tiffs_inspired life. I'm not as active on Instagram as I would like to be, but I'm trying. It's more like the place that you can go to find not just like my knitting and my crocheting, but life is there. And I don't mean like every aspect of my life, but if my Nespresso makes a pretty cup of coffee, it's gonna be there. Or if there's something really pretty that I took a picture of in nature, they normally get posted there as well. I think let's start with finished objects, shall we? Okay, so for finished objects, if you guys will remember, I had completed a scrappy blanket, I guess about 3 weeks ago now, and I really loved it. It's made out of fingering weight yarn out of a magic knot ball, and I used a US size 6 4mm size G crochet hook and fingering weight yarn magic knot ball, and I absolutely loved this one. And for anybody that's new that hasn't seen it yet, this is what the original one looks like. And I am pleased to say that on the 31st, I finished this one. And of course, I don't have my ends woven in again, but yeah, I didn't on the last one. But they're woven in now. Anyway, so this is the second one, and I wanted this one to be a bit wider. So hold on. I cast on, I think it was 238 stitches. There it is from the bottom. I cast on 238 stitches for the chain, and then I just went from there. I still used one strand of fingering weight yarn because you guys know how I feel about the marled effect. It's not my personal favorite. And I just crocheted whatever the next color was that came up in the ball. Until on the night of the 30th, I was working on this blanket and I was almost finished with it, and this color had come up in the ball, but the lighting wasn't really good in the bedroom because I had like soft lighting and I had a candle lit, and I was in the zone. Anyway, something told me, why don't you finish the blanket tomorrow? Leave that one for tomorrow. And I'm so glad I did, because this was the next color. And in the dark, it looked like it was like an off-white or even a beige. But the reason I'm so glad that I listened to that little voice is because that color was already in the blanket. See? And I didn't want it in the blanket again. I don't have repeating colors in my magic knot balls. At least I try really hard not to, and so far I've been pretty successful. So I didn't want this electric yellow in there again. So when I got to, hey, wrong end. When I got to, the join is right here. When I got to right here, the next color was going to be that electric yellow. So what I did was I cut it off of what was going on with this magic knot ball, and I added this magic knot ball, which started with this peachy, sparkly, reddish orange situation that you see right here. And then I just finished it off from there. So it was that orangey bit, and then the gray, then the red, then the aqua, and then I finished. And I absolutely love it. It is a little bit heavier. Yeah, it's a little bit heavier than the other one, but I think that that's really just the fact that it's slightly wider. Alejandria has already tried to confiscate it, and I'm like, no. And so she was, what did she say to me? She said, well, what about for your future grandchildren? And I'm like, well, when you have my future grandchildren, then we'll revisit the discussion. But for now, no. And she says, but you have two. And I go, yeah, I know. I have two now. Isn't that fantastic? She was like, no, it's not. She's still not getting the blanket though, guys. It's not happening. So yeah, so that is finished. This is how much I have left of the Magic Knot Ball. And this color right here is actually going to come out of this one, and it's going to go into the Magic Knot Ball that I have that is of all of the browns, the beiges, the taupes, the creams. This is actually a color by Mothy and the Squid. Random, I know, but for once I actually know the yarn because it's one of mine and not Mom's. So this color is going to go into the brown ball, and then I think I'm going to use this ball to make the muscle burrow hat because I already have the pattern, and as you guys know, I'm in a pattern no buy year because I have too many. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add that to this, and then I'm going to make the muscle burrow hat. So hopefully I will get that cast on this month. We'll see. Fingers crossed. And then what's left of this, I'm just going to make a pair of scrappy socks, and then I will have finished, hopefully, this one. So I will keep you guys posted. The next thing that I finished were my Warm and Simple mitts, and they are a pattern by Sandrine Voss, and they're the Zopoville edition 3, and it was a sport weight yarn, and I absolutely loved hers. I'll put a little pop-up right here for you guys so you can see them. I loved hers. I loved the color. And normally I'm not one of those people that is like, oh, I want to copy exactly what somebody else has done. But in this instance, they were just so pretty I couldn't help myself. And so in the last video, I had one completed, and now they are both completed. Da, 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 da. They're so pretty. They're so pretty. They were a super easy knit. The pattern, it says it's still free. It says this pattern is free for a limited time only. So it's still showing as a free pattern in Ravelry. So if you want, hop on over and get it because it was super easy. It's got an increase, just a basic increase for the gusset, for the thumb gusset. And then you just do your ribbing as long as you want. You do your cuff as long as you want. And there you go. So they're super cute. They're the perfect length. The only thing is that now I know if I make these again, which is a strong possibility because I still have one whole ball left. And then Mom had wanted to make these as well. So I had bought her 2 balls of it, but once she got it, she decided that she didn't like it. It was too thin. So she gave it to me. So I think I'm going to make these again because these I made as the size medium, but I have really small wrists. I have like child size wrists, and I feel like they're too bulky. So I thought I might try to make these as the as a small and see if I like it any better. And if I do, then fabulous. I'll give these to one of the girls. And if I don't, well, then I'll give the small ones to my mom because my mom has very tiny hands. And I'll keep the medium ones. But either way, super, super fun TV watching knit. I listened to an Audible book and just kept knitting away. So these are finished. Absolutely love them. Fabulous and fantastic. So finished object number 2. All right, finished object number 3. Spoiler, if you haven't seen the accessories video, go watch that and then come back to this one. Otherwise, you're gonna have a spoiler. Okay, so in the accessories video, I had showed you guys this book that my mom had and I had gotten at Joanns. It was in a Simply Knitting magazine, which I'll show you guys in a second. So in it is this pattern right here. And I was like, oh, Mom, I really like that. I want to make it. Here's like a close-up. Oops, where are you? There you go. Right? So I sat down on, I think it was Saturday afternoon. Do you ever find like that spot in your house where the sun is just shining perfectly and it's coming through the windows and it's warm and toasty and it's quiet? For me on Saturday, what was it? Raina was at a friend's house. Ninive was still asleep. Aya was at work. And I think Jay was outside doing yard work. So it was like super quiet in the house. And I was in the bedroom and the sun was shining through the window. And you know how you get the big rectangle of sun on the window, on the floor? So I was like, oh, I'm just going to sit right there. So I sat with my back up against the windowsill and I just started knitting the headband. And it was like the best. And I think Alejandria came home and she was like, Mama T, why are you sitting on the floor? I'm like, I'm in the sun. It feels good. Leave me alone. Go away. But yeah, so it took me, I guess, about 3 hours to make this. Maybe 4, somewhere between 3 and 4 hours. And you guys will be so proud of me because I can even tell you how much yarn I used. So if you guys come across this pattern and you want to make it or something similar, okay. So I used the Lanagato fashion yarn, and it is their brand called Hydra, and it is made in Italy, and this is color 8676, and it's a 50-gram ball. And I thought that this was really pretty and would be great for the summer as a nice pop of color because it's got that whole tie-dye thing going on. And so I made mine, and the pattern was really simple because it's just, it's a 20 row zigzag lace pattern. And after you do the first 20 rows, you're supposed to repeat the chart 8 times. But remember I told you guys I have like a really small head. So I repeated it 7 times and put it over my head to see, because you just match your stitch it close, and it was already way too big. So I had to unknit. I had to tink back 20 rows to the 6th repeat. And then I went from there. But anyway, all that to say, oh, and it was made on US size 6 4mm DPNs. Well, these aren't US ones, they're my French DPNs, but they work for me. And this is what it came out like. How pretty is that? I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's a nice pop of color. It's got good stretch to it. The cotton of the yarn is really nice. And then you just match or stitch the 2 sides together. I didn't bother being like super picky about it because it was just going to be underneath. Hold on, let's see. And hold on, come on. No makeup, just, the stuff. So there you go. Ta-da! Hopefully you guys are seeing that and not something else. But yeah, I really like it. It's super cute. It's functional. I will say that this particular kind of cotton, just like all cotton, stretches over use, but I'm hoping that, popping it back in the dryer will solve that problem after I wear it. But I thought it would be good for like when I go to work in the garden, or if dare I say I take the girls to the beach, because granted I live in Florida, but anybody that knows me knows that I hate the beach. But yeah, I might use this to keep the hair out of my face. So this was finished object number 3. And in case you guys are curious, the issue of the magazine packet that it came in, it was this, and it was the, oh, that's pretty. You ever stop and just look at the back of the magazine? I haven't flipped through this. My mom did when she was here, but I haven't flipped through it, so let's just divert. How pretty is that? Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Okay, so it is this issue of Simply Knitting. It is their spring issue. I think this is issue number 238. Yep, issue number 238. And what's funny is this says that it's issue 238, 2023, but this is the one that we just got at Joanns like 2.5 weeks ago. Anyway, it has some really cute stuff in it. Like, I think that floral headband would be really cute to make as well. Yeah, Mom has flipped all through this. And there's a great section on here about the different summer cottons, and they tested a bunch of them. There's some cute baby slippers. There's this really pretty, check that out. Isn't that pretty? Look at the texture of the yarn. I really like that. So I'll have to look at that. There's a front and the back are made identical, and then you have your 2 sleeves. It says take on a challenge. Their difficulty, I think, is a 1 through 4, and this is a 3. Anyway, so this is where it was, and the other things that were in this bundle that came with this was a pair of wooden knitting needles that had little cats at the top, and a wooden sock ruler. That was the other thing that was in the bundle. And Mom, of course, confiscated the needles and the sock ruler, and I got the magazine, because once Mom flips through them, like, she's done with them. So they normally end up with me anyway. But yeah, so that's where they were if you decide that you want to make this ear warmer. this headband. So that is what my third finished object. The next thing that I finished is like, I gotta put my hair back up, guys. It is like, they're like 95% of the way done. Okay, warning, another spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the accessories video, go watch that and then come back to this one. But I finished the Earrings Boho Granny Squares. That's what it's called. And it was by Smolina Yana. And I followed the pattern exactly like she said. I didn't bring it upstairs. All right. I'll remember to put an insert of the tube of the cotton that I had. It was a cotton that, of course, I got from Mom, and I know that it was made by a company called Artiste, and that it was number 10 cotton. I remember that. And it came in like a dark brown with a copper metallic strand. There was the 2 colors that I'm about to show you, and a white with a silver strand through it. All right, the reason that I say these are like 97% of the way completed is I still have to go to Joanns to get the little earring things. But I was successful with my size 0 crochet hook, and I made the squares. And here they are. How pretty are they, guys? Like, they're really, really pretty. I have to get the, all you can see is my nails. There you go. I have to get the fabric glue, but my mom said to just get some Elmer's glue, put some water in it so that it's not so thick, and then brush that over the earrings and let them dry, and I'll be fine. So I'll probably do that. She's coming tomorrow, so this weekend we'll go to Joanns and I'll get the little earring pieces so I can make the little dangling earrings. But this is kind of what they'll look like. But I thought that these would be perfect for the summer. They'll be nice with like a nice summer dress. They'll have a nice little bit of sparkle. And then I thought that they might even be pretty, like 3 of them together for a necklace. So I might actually go back and revisit this, because you would think size 0 crochet hook, number 10 cotton would be like a painful experience, and it was actually super, super quick. They were really pleasant to make. So yeah, hopefully in the next video I will have finished these and I can actually show you some pictures of what they look like on, unless between now and when Jay edits the video, which is a possibility, I can go to Joanns and then I'll finish these, and then right about here I'll have him insert what they look like on their earring post. But that's assuming like the timing gods are on my side. Okay, I have 2 more finished objects, but they're the exact same thing, and I have a question for you guys. Okay, so I have my Samsung tablet, and then I have recently started to learn to draw, and so I have an iPad as well. when my mom got her new phone, they gave her a free iPad, and she was like, oh. I said, Mom, I'm starting to learn to draw and I want to use Procreate and I need an iPad. So I'm thinking about just going to Verizon and buying one. And she says, why? I have one, you can have it. So instant iPad. So then I got to thinking that I needed some place to keep them because I don't keep mine in a case. I'm more of a hands-on person. So I decided that I wanted to make a case to put them in. And so I had some, hold on, I can't even tell you what it's called. Pardon me. It is the Lily Sugar and Cream, and the colorway is called Wooded Moss. And this is what it looks like. And I used my British crochet hook, my Arrow. It is a 4.5 millimeter. And this is my favorite British hook. The 4.5 millimeter is just like the perfect size. And I know that in US we have 4 and we have 4 1/4, but not 4.5. So there you go. So if you're ever looking for like that middle ground, go on eBay or go on Etsy and look for an Arrow UK 4.5 millimeter crochet hook and you'll be good. Anyway, so I used that cotton and that hook and I made this. And then what I did was I did a chain of 27 and then I did what did I do? I think it's a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, skip 2, double crochet, skip 1, double crochet, skip 1. I wrote the pattern down. But this is how it came out, and it actually fits surprisingly well because I didn't want one that was going to be super loose because I figured this way I could always put it in my purse too, like when I go on a road trip or a travel or something. So there. So I thought that was perfect. So I made it in this color, and then I had some leftover Bernat Handicrafter, and so I made it again. So I have one for my Android and one for the Samsung. And since I have one skein left, because it didn't even take the full skein to make one, I think I might do a crochet tutorial on how I made my tablet case. So let me know in the comments below if that's something that might interest you. It was super, super easy, really beginner friendly. Just do your chain of 27 stitches and then crochet up one end, and then you put the extra half doubles on either side in the middle stitch and then crochet up the other side, and then just keep going in the round from there. So yeah, let me know if you guys want me to do a tutorial on it. I will leave a link below. I'll create a Ravelry page for it, and I'll leave a link below for the project, and I'll write out the pattern down there. So if you know how to crochet and you want to make some for yourself, you can, because the pattern will be out there and it's something that I just randomly came up with. So anyway, that was the next thing that I finished this month. I think that's everything. Yeah. All right. Works in progress. What have I been working on? Okay. The next thing that I am still working on, but almost finished with, because we're at the point where I put the knot in it and I can see how far I have left to go for the winter. And it's maybe 2 inches left to go. This is the Nudo head scarf, I think is what it's called. See, now I need my tablet back. And it's called the Nudo Headband, and it is by January and July. And it is knit with DK weight yarn, and it is knit with US size 6 4mm needles. And super, super simple. You just cast on, and then you just knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row, knit a row, purl a row. It's a free pattern, so I can tell you. And she says you're supposed to go until it's about 30 inches long, but if you think that might be too long for you, which is definitely the case for me, she said just knit as far as you feel and then make the knot. Just make it a loose knot, and then just keep trying it on until you have just a little bit of space. And when you have a little bit of space, just bind off and mattress stitch it, unless you did a provisional cast on, then do a 3-needle bind off. And for that, I am using a Yarnspirations Karen Blossom Cake. And that's what the colorway looks like. And the name makes absolutely no sense to me because it's called Yacht Club. Yacht Club would imply blue in my book, but whatever. So yeah, so works in progress. This is what I'm working on. I have about 2 inches to go and then it's finally done. I thought that this was going to be like a super quick project, but it's not. I'm not loving the project, but at this point I'm like, I only have 2 inches to go, so I'm not going to give up now. But I don't know if it's the yarn, if it's the needles, if it's just that I'm not excited about the project. I don't know. It's definitely something I might try to make again, but with a different yarn. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's where I am on that. The thing that I have been making the most, I don't need to have on my tablet for, because yeah, there you go. I have been working on my Andrea Mowry Wool and Honey sweater. I'm absolutely loving it, and I am making the size small because I don't know if I'm going to have enough yarn to finish the sweater in a size medium. So I'm just hoping like heck that a combination of the stretchiness of the garter stitch that I'll be able to fit. Based on what she says in her measurements, I think the size small is going to work for me, but you know, we'll see. It is knit top down. You start with a tubular cast on for the collar and you go from there. And I am currently on row 57, and I will say that if you do decide to make this sweater, pay incredibly close attention to what the pattern is telling you to do. Like, I can't stress that enough. Just pay attention, because when I was on row 6 of this pattern, every single time I reread line 6, I saw something different. Every single time I was like, oh, I was supposed to do that. Let's take it out. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. Okay, yeah. If you decide to make this sweater, pay very close attention to what the pattern says, especially round 6, because round 6 repeats in different variations throughout the sweater. This was very cool to make so far, and I remember one night sitting there going, wrap yarn 5 times? What the heck? But okay, whatever. I am in the middle of a row, which is not the best place to be under normal circumstances, but in this instance it works because I'm on a slip 2 knit 14. No, I'm on a slip 2 purl 14, slip 2 purl 14. So I know where I am based on the fact that I just did a slip 2. So, and they're elongated stitches, and this one is wrapped 5 times, so it's not like it's going anywhere. And this is where we are so far. How pretty is that? I'm absolutely loving this so much. It's every bit as fun as I thought it would be, and finishing each honeycomb is insanely gratifying. Yeah, I can't say enough about this. What am I using for my needles? They're on a Chai-Goo cable, and I believe that this is knit on size 4. It's fingering weight yarn, size 4 needles. These are my Chai-Goos, and I am using I think this is the 24-inch cable, and I am to the point where I have 320 stitches here right now, and it's kind of bunched up, as you can see. And on the one hand, I'm like, I want to go up another cable, but after I get completed with row 6, then I just jump to page 9 because the rest of it doesn't apply to me. And from there, I have another 54 rows to go, and there's more increasing. So maybe I will switch a cable. Yeah, there's more stitching. Yeah, because it says that it looks like I'll have like 380. Well, I don't know. If I currently have 320 stitches, and by the time I'm done, I'll have 380 stitches on the needle. But then you divide the sleeves off, so I have a feeling that my body will be right back to roughly fitting on this size cable, but being too stretched out on the next cable. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about whether or not I should switch cables. What do you guys think? Yeah, let me know. What do you think? Should I just like wing it and just leave it because I only have, what, 60 more stitches that are going to show up on this cable? But yeah, just bask in the glory of the honeycombs. I'm absolutely loving this. This is something that I have literally been working on every single day. Except for the Saturday that I made the headband, and I think 2 other days that I didn't knit or crochet at all, and then there were 3 days that Mom was here. This is the yarn that I am using for my body, and don't ask me what it's called because I don't know. It's a mom yarn. And I used a completely different yarn for the collar for anybody that's been around since the day I cast this on. The collar, the ribbing on the sleeves, and the ribbing on the hem, I'm going to use this darker color for, in a hopes that will kind of help me to offset any yarn shortage that I might have for being able to finish the sweater. But this has been like I'm loving this so much. This is what I'm working on. In fact, I put in a round and a half during a staff meeting today. So that's my other work in progress. I have 2 more works in progress. So in my last video, I showed you guys for my acquisitions the yarn that Mom had picked out for the line dance cowl. But as I was reading the package, it said that yarn was for a different cowl pattern. And then when I sat down and actually started to make the line dance cowl, I realized that I was going to need completely different yarn. So I stashed stove, and I decided to, this is a Cascade Heritage. This is a Sin City locally dyed yarn that they use. This is Cloudborn Fibers, and this is, I don't know. But these are what I decided that I was going to use to make my line dance. All right? Clue 1 is here. And before I frog it, I just wanted to show you guys my clue 1. And I called my mom and I said, Mom, I don't think that you are going to be able to do this, let alone are you going to want to do this. And this is, what is that called? It is called the garland. And I tried the garland a bazillion times, a bazillion different ways, and every single time mine came out absolutely just icky. You had to do a slip with yarn in back, knit, yarn over, knit, all in the same stitch. And then on the next row, you have to knit that KYOK through the back loop. The first couple of times I tried it, I figured, okay, well, maybe it's just because my knitting is too tight. So I figured that I would do that slip with yarn and back KYOK on a bigger needle, and then when I came back with a smaller needle, I should be able to then knit through the back loop, no problem. Yeah, no way. So I had some choice words for my mom, and I told her that I couldn't do the line dance make along. This was as far as I got, and it's coming off the needles and the yarn's going back in stash. And I started it on my French double pointed. And what is this? I can't see because there's a glare. It's whatever needle size the pattern recommended. A US size 4, 3.5 millimeter. But yeah, I couldn't do it. The struggle was real. I was on the struggle bus, and I want it off. I couldn't. So the yarn is going back in stash, and I will be frogging this evening, and we will never speak of this again. The next thing that I decided was when I organized the yarn a few months ago in the purple yarn cart, I organized the pink, the yellow, and the purple yarn. And this cake was sitting, it's okay because for once I know what it's called off the top of my head. This cake was sitting on the bottom on the left hand side, and every day I walk past it a bazillion times, and then it hit me the other day, and I was like, I want to make a pair of socks, and I want to make a pair of socks out of that. This looks and feels like jelly, but it's not. It is actually Mrs. Crosby Likes to Play. It is on their train case base, and the colorway is called Pansy. I am so impressed with myself that I remembered all that. And it's very, very pretty, and it does make you think of pansies, and it's got this slight halo. See it? It's got a slight halo to it. It is kind of a thick, thin spin. Like in some places it's thicker than others. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell. But yeah, in some places it's thicker than others. So I decided that I was just going to make a plain vanilla sock. So 2.25 millimeter 9-inch circulars. I had to think for a minute there. And I just cast on. And I know how many I cast on. Okay, I know I did 25 rows of ribbing, and I've done 60 rows for the leg. But, oh wait, before I get that far, here's what it looks like. Pardon. Let me show you my stitch marker is a tea kettle. This is where I stopped the ribbing so that I would remember, just as I had an additional marker, if I lost my sticky note, which appears to be the case. I'm sure it's up there somewhere. Anyway, so this is how it's coming out, and I really like it, and it's really pretty. But I did do something different. So the other day, I wore my bookcase socks. It was our last chilly day here in Florida, and in my heart of hearts, I knew it was going to be our last chilly day, so I decided that I was going to wear my bookshelf socks on. As I was walking around the house, I'm like, these just really aren't very comfortable. And then throughout the day, I was just thinking about the fact that most of my hand knit socks aren't very comfortable, and so I don't wear them for very long, and then I just gravitate back to my commercial socks and I put those on. So then I was watching Cherie of the Ollie and Bella podcast, and Cherie had made a comment about the fact that she had accidentally cast on 56 stitches when she normally casts on 64, and she didn't realize it until she went to do her heel flap, and then she was like, oh, I don't have the right number of stitches. Well, she finished the sock anyway, and then come to find out she loved the fit. Like, she was like, oh, I'm never knitting 64 stitches again. So I decided that when I made these socks, instead of casting on 64 stitches, I was going to cast on 60. Because this is a thick and thin yarn, I didn't want to go down to 56 and then for them to not fit at all. So this is new for me because normally I'm on 64 stitches and now I'm on 60, but we will see. I will let you know what the difference is in the fit between these and all of the socks that I've knit on 64 stitches. And it's not that like my foot size has gotten any smaller or anything. Just throughout the life of all of the socks that I've knit, I don't wear a lot of them for very long, like I said, because I don't like the way they feel. But hopefully at 60 stitches, I will like the way they feel, and we're gonna go from there. So that is another work in progress. I have finished the ribbing and the leg, if I didn't say, and I'm getting ready to start the heel flap. I will probably do that this evening. Okay, that is it for works in progress. I have 2 acquisitions. That one won't fit right now, but I have 3 acquisitions. Okay, so the first acquisition is I have this skein of yarn that's sitting in my stash that makes me think of lemonade. Right? Doesn't that just lemonade, right? That's lemonade, right? So I was telling my mom, of course, Mom, that I wanted to make a pair of lacy socks, but of course I'm on a pattern no buy, and so my mom went out onto Etsy and she was like, hey, I like these socks. I think you should make them out of the lemonade yarn, and then she's bought the pattern and sent it to me. And these are called the #Dreamer socks. And they are by Linda Gaga. And there's the pattern, what they look like. Aren't they pretty? I'll try to remember to put a pop-up up here for you guys as well, because the sun is shifting and you may not be able to see that very well. But I am thinking lemonade lacy socks. What do you guys think? So this is wishful project number 1 that I want to cast on. And so that's acquisition number 1. Acquisition number 2 is Mom felt bad because the line dance cowl was cruel and unusual punishment as far as I was concerned. And she was on Facebook, whereas I am not a Facebook person. And she saw the knit along for the friendship shawl. And she said, let's try again. And I said, okay, well, how bad can it be after the first one, right? So she sent me the link and I went to Yarn Loop's website. The receipt's over there, so I had to see what they were called. I went to Yarn Loop's website and I picked one of their pre-made bundles for the friendship shawl. The yarn that is used is by Malabrigo, and it is called their Dos Tierras yarn. And it takes 3 skeins. And so I have, let me do it in the right order. Okay, so this one is called Natural, obviously. 063 Natural by Malabrigo, spun from the finest wool in Uruguay. Let's see. Approximately 100 grams, 210 yards, 50% merino wool, 50% baby alpaca, U.S. needles size 5 or 6. So this is the Natural. The next color is called Pearl. I had to think about that one for a minute. And it is also 100 grams, 210 yards, 50% merino, 50% baby alpaca. Yeah, that's all there is about that one. The next, oh, and it's colorway 036 in case you needed to know. And the last color is called Ursula, and it's color 365 to approximately 210 yards, 100 grams, U.S. size 5 or 6 needles, 50% merino wool, 50% alpaca, hand wash, cold water, dry flat. And this is the Ursula. How pretty is that? So all 3 of them together, I could do this, look like this. What do you guys think? So Mom is coming tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah, tomorrow. Mom's coming tomorrow. So we are going to cast on this. Mom has different colors for hers. I think she picked like some sandy peachy colored one. But yeah, so this is the next thing that I will be working on. And so this will be in the April update video. I will let you guys know, and I'm going to try to post some pictures on Instagram as I go. I'm actually going to join the MCal hashtag, which normally I don't do. But this just looks like it's going to be really pretty and something that I will definitely wear and use afterwards. So, I mean, besides merino and alpaca, why not, right? All right. So that's acquisition number 2. Acquisition number 3. There's another acquisition, but it's not here yet, so it'll have to be in a different video. I wanted to try these crochet hooks. Not sponsored or anything like that. I just really wanted to try them. They are a crochet hook that comes from Germany, and a lot of English crocheters use them. And since I am such a big fan of the original Arrow crochet hooks, which are just steel, or aluminum, I wanted to try these ones, and I still haven't tried them out yet, but they're supposed to be ergonomically, I've felt them, but that's about it. They're supposed to be ergonomically correct, and they're supposed to feel better in your hand. And they look like they're rounded, but they're flat at the same time. It's kind of weird. But I haven't tried them, and in case you guys haven't figured it out or noticed by now, I'm left-handed. I'm not right-handed. So I don't knit the same direction that everybody else does. Mostly I don't crochet the same way that everybody else does. My mom, she crochets like this, and I'm like, how? And I crochet like this, and she's like, how? And we've each tried the other person's way, and I'm just like, no. After like 2 stitches, no. I can't do it. But yeah. So, fun fact about me, I'm a lefty, not a righty, which is another reason that I'm kind of concerned about ever doing a tutorial, which is why I asked if you guys would want one. Keep that in mind. I'm a lefty, so things may not look the way you expect them to. Anyway, so yeah, so these are, they feel good in my hand. I'm just used to always using such a thin crochet hook, but I do notice that as I'm getting older, I do get that cramp down the middle of my hand. So I'm wondering if changing to an ergonomic hook will help. So yeah, we'll see. I'll let you guys know how I like them. They were like, I think $39 at Joanns, but I used a 50% off one regular priced item coupon, and then there was like an extra 20% off your total purchase day. That's the only reason that I got these to try, is I was able to get them for like less than $10. So yeah, I'll let you guys know how I do with those. I think that's it. That's acquisitions, that's hopeful cast-ons, that's one frog, finished objects, works in progress. I do have 2 more skeins of yarn that I have pulled from stash that I suddenly feel the urge to make some socks with. So these are 2 yarns that were sitting in the big pink pile of the lavender cart of yarn that suddenly I feel like I want to make some socks with. And I'm going to use my little pink tea cake stitch marker for this one, and this one I haven't picked a stitch marker yet. I'm pretty sure that this one is a Jilly, but the more I look at it, I'm wondering if it also might be a Mrs. Crosby. I feel like it is. I know I have the labels because I had them out the other day. If I remember and I find them, we will put them right here for you guys. Who's who and what's what. This one, let me just make sure. Yeah, there's definitely no label in there. This one, I think once upon a time wanted to be something else. So I might actually recake this one first, because who wants to start out a project with a crazy cake? But yeah, I think I'm just going to make some socks, and I kind of want to do a textured sock with this one. So I have to look and see what I have for textured sock patterns. I did look in the 52 Weeks of Socks book when I was looking for a lacy sock, but the only one that was in there that I did like was for a worsted weight yarn, not a fingering weight yarn. So I tried to use the book, but it didn't work. So I'm going to go back through the book and see what they have for textured patterns and see if they have one in there that I can use for those. So those are my other hopefuls. So obviously my sock mojo has returned and I'm so happy and so excited. And I'm definitely going to cast these ones on also with the 60 stitches, not the 64. Yeah. And I think that's it. That's my current mission. Yeah, I think that's everything. That was a lot. It was way more than I thought, because you know how you go throughout the month and you're like, oh, I just don't feel like I've really gotten a lot accomplished. But then when you start getting it all out and you start putting it in the basket, you're like, wow, I've been really, really busy. Okay, so I had a way more productive month than I thought I was gonna have. With that said, I hope that you found this video entertaining. I hope that you feel inspired to finish some projects that you have that are hanging around, or to maybe try to make something new with some yarn that you have hanging around. Work on some gift knitting, work on some summer knitting, work on some spring knitting. Go and check out some magazines at your local library if you're not somebody that likes to go out and buy them. I know that when I finish with my knitting magazines, I donate them all to my local library. In fact, that's where I donated most of my knitting books that I had my coming to self moment and realized I really wasn't going to use them. And I recently went into the library and flipped through my own Harry Potter knitting book, which was pretty cool. Weird, but cool. So yeah. Check out some magazines at your local library and see if there might be some summer or spring knits patterns that you might be interested in. Yeah, I think that's everything. All right, I hope you feel inspired to start, create, or finish something, anything, everything. And if you liked this video, please like, comment, subscribe, send up smoke signals, carrier pigeons, whatever it takes. We did hit 500 subscribers. As of this morning, we were almost at 600. I'm amazed. Yeah, I'm nothing short of amazed every morning when I wake up now. And I'd look at the subscriber count. So again, thank you to everybody that has subscribed or has joined this little community. If you guys have comments, suggestions, thoughts, anything that you love, anything that you hate, please tell me, share. I want to continue to grow this channel. And yeah, I think that's it. And with that said, I hope that you all have an amazing weekend, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.